Hello there, thanks for joining us on CoreTV News this hour. I am Nifemi Oguntoye. The Nigerian ambassador to the United Nations, Adebowale Ibidapo Adefuye, has died in Washington, D.C. Adefuye, who was recalled to Nigeria after President Muhammadu Buhari was sworn in as president, was still waiting to hand it over to a new ambassador when he died. He was appointed by the former administration of President Goodluck Jonathan. Adebowale Ibidapo Adefuye, an historian, also served as Nigeria's ambassador to Jamaica and Deputy High Commissioner to the UK. He hailed from Ijebu-Igbo in Ogun State, and he was born in 1947 and died at a yet-to-be-disclosed hospital in Washington at 68. Operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, have arrested Danjuma Kuso, the past national president of the Association of Local Government of Nigeria and former chairman of Gakarko Local Government Area of Kaduna State. He was picked from his Banawa residence in Kaduna North Local Government Area at about 9:45 on Thursday morning. Family members who confirmed the development said Akuso was arrested over a petition by Abubakar Abba and John David on allegation of laundering billions of naira in public funds. In the petition, which was copied President Muhammadu Buhari and Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, the petitioners claimed that an account operated by Akuso in Zenith Bank had a balance of about 34 million naira before the 2015 general election, but grew to over 2 billion naira by April. There were allegations that about 800 billion naira was transferred to the account of former spokesman of the Jonathan Campaign Organization, Femi Fani-Kayode. The police authorities have redeployed 19 assistant inspector generals and 49 commissioners. This is in the aftermath of recent retirements and promotions in the police force. A statement issued by the Deputy Force PRO, Yomi Shogunle, shows that AIG Joseph Mbo is now the commandant of the Police Staff College in Jos. Bala Hassan is AIG in charge of Zone 2, while Patrick Dokumo is Force Secretary. Some of the new postings are Tambari Mohammed, who remains in Kano as AIG Zone 1, Balan Nasarawa takes charge in Abuja, and Adisa Bolanta moves to Calabar, the capital of Cross Rivers. Meanwhile, Inspector General of Police Solomon Arese has appointed BC Kolawole as the new Force Public Relations Officer. Kolawole, who is an acting Assistant Commissioner of Police, is the first female police officer to be appointed as National Police Spokesman. She replaces Emmanuel Ojukwu, who is now the Commissioner of Police in Kogi State. A police statement showed that the new Force PRO holds a first degree in law from Ogun State University and a master's degree in police leadership and management from University of Leicester, United Kingdom. Until her appointment, she was the first gender advisor, and acting ACP Idu Omohuma has also been appointed as Principal Staff Officer to Inspector General Arase. The new PSO takes over from CP Austin Uwa, who is now the Commissioner of Police in charge of Gombe State Command. Before his appointment as PSO, he was Arase's personal assistant. Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode on Thursday paid a condolence visit to the Governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, to commiserate with him over the passing of his foster father, Malam Yahya Hamza. Hamza, who was a renowned educationist and former permanent secretary in the Federal Ministry of Education, passed on after a brief illness in the late hours of Tuesday. The governor, who had in his entourage the secretary to the state government, Tunji Bello, visited El-Rufai at the family residence in Kaduna. He urged them to take solace in the fact that his father lived a fulfilled life, especially in the Kaduna State Civil Service, where he served as the secretary to the state government, as well as chairman of the Council of West Africa Examination Council, WAEC, from 1997 to 2000. The management of the Jos University Teaching Hospital in Plateau State has stated its readiness to end the perennial loss of revenue by Nigerians as a result of the medical tourism usually embarked upon by wealthy Nigerians in search of treatment abroad. The management of the institution, who made this promise during an interactive session with journalists in Jos, also outlined what they have been doing as a health institution in a challenging environment. Our Plateau State correspondent Hasbul in this report presented from our studios. With the loss of revenue to other economies of the world from Nigeria as a result of medical tourism often embarked upon by her citizens, thought to be in the billions annually, the management of the Jos University Teaching Hospital says they are poised to help in bringing this to an end.
Certain things that will be effective very soon in hospital. Those mothers and parents who currently do not have the ability to conceive, that will be a thing of the past very soon. This traveling, health travels or economic tourism, going to India for renal transplant will be a thing of the past, because within the next 6 months, the hospital will be able to effectively carry out kidney transplant here in Jos.
You've heard that some team from the US have been visiting parts of this country to carry out heart surgery. Jos University Teaching Hospital has been chosen as one of those centers. And what they usually do is they start by assessing the center to see whether the facilities that is needed for the heart surgery is there. We are very confident that we have all the facilities that they require.
For the Chief Medical Director of the hospital, Edmund Banwat, while speaking on the courtesy call to the Plateau State Governor Simon Lalong, the hospital has made giant strides in
a couple of weeks, a team from USA will be in Jos to assess our facility for the commencement of open heart surgery. Research-wise, the hospital has been championing research in HIV/AIDS, as you are aware. This is sponsored by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which has transferred into the PEPFAR program, as you know. Cancer, and recently, our hospital has been chosen as a center for the Ebola vaccine trial.
This, according to him, will continue with the hospital contributing its quota to the development of the nation's health sector. The Federation Accounts Allocation Committee has shared 511.8 billion naira among the 3 tiers of government for July 2015. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Finance, Anastasia Okobia, announced this after the FAC meeting in Abuja. She explained that the disbursement includes the month's net statutory revenue of 433.5 billion. The Permanent Secretary also revealed
the gross statutory revenue, that's the total revenue available for distribution for the month of July, is 430.446 billion. After all the deductions, we have 411.867 billion. For value-added tax, gross amount generated 74.945 billion. After the cost of deduction is 71.947 billion. The breakdown will be provided to you by the Office of the Accountant General. Under the excess crude account, we have a current balance of $2.257 billion.
The national leadership of the All Progressives Congress want members of the party to always adhere with APC's manifesto in the course of discharging their duties. National Chairman John Odigo-Yego gave the charge at the workshop organized for the national and state auditors of the party in Abuja.
Now that we're in government, and in line with the party manifesto and our change mantra, we have only just started a journey of probity, transparency, and sincerity of purpose. Our conduct must at all times be worthy of emulation in the way we live, our personal lives, even our personal lives, and more particularly, the way we run the affairs of the party.
This is the first of its kind in Nigeria. This assures the Nigerians that APC is a different party. It's an engine of change in the system of democratic part of government. And as you can see today, the party is proving that they are very transparency, very accountability, That is why they will be able to bring all the state auditors to come to their state headquarters at Abuja, here in Abuja. They are now giving us the detail of how to manage the funds both internally and externally.
What I'm expecting that at the end of this exercise, we'll be able to maybe strengthen our level of performances in our various states and trying to guard against irregularities as far as our finances are concerned.
Senate leader Ali Ndume has admitted that there were procedural errors in the investigative hearing into the petition filed against the chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ibrahim Lamode. The Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petition began its investigation into the alleged diversion of 1 trillion naira on Wednesday without allowing EFCC representatives to observe the session. And speaking on the matter at the news conference in Abuja, the Senate leader conceded that there were errors in the procedure, but refused to go into details.
There were actually, I think, there were some procedural lapses there, but it was, I don't want to believe it's deliberate, because there is no way you can cut corners or anything or use the institution like the Senate to settle personal scores. It doesn't work that way. After all, whatever decision you take, it has to be debated on the floor of the House, and it has to be passed. So even if it is a committee recommendation, after the committee works, you have to present it in a plenary, and majority will have to agree with the content of the report before it becomes acceptable. As you must have observed, I'm not used to just talking anyhow on these issues. How does it become an issue? Because the end justifies the means. So if you go and make noise all over, and you know that all that noise will have to be accepted by the majority of the Senate before it becomes anything. So even if the committee does the work and the Senate rejects it, that's the end of it. So why are you guys making an issue out of it?
We'll take a break now, and I'll be back with more stories. Don't go away.
Some pundits believe that as long as the political system is driven by selected few, corruption may be difficult to fight.
You should be careful about what you say.
I am not the only politician. Even if I've wronged anyone, it is time to forgive me.
Political Arena every Sunday at 9:15 p.m. and a repeat broadcast every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m.
Welcome back. You can get all of our top stories on any of our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/CoreTV News. Our Twitter handle is at CoreTV News NJ, and we'll stream live on YouTube. It's youtube.com/CoreTV, with a space and news. Borno State government is seeking local support for the upkeep of internally displaced persons in 26 camps shared across the state. Governor Kasim Shatima says that over 162 bags of rice are prepared every day in just one of the camps. He worried that the 600 million naira a month expenditure is having an adverse effect on government coffers, hence his quest for additional financial support. Paul Samuel was at a fundraising event for the displaced persons in northeast Nigeria, where the governor made this appeal.
It is the first time a private organization is taking the initiative to raise funds for people displaced by insurgent activities in the Northeast. Daily Trust is largely seen as a newspaper with a bias for northern Nigeria. And there is nothing that best captures the situation in that part of the country than the hundreds of thousands affected directly or indirectly by the lingering insurgency. In taking the lead to raise funds for internally displaced persons, the organizers gave room for those who have visited IDP camps to share their experiences.
The enormity of the problem and its complexity, the complexity of the solution, has given rise to the idea of a joint intervention by all these groups that you have seen there. So the internally displaced persons must return to a normal life, and they need assistance from all of us. And it's very important we look at the education of the children. The education of these children is so important because it would prevent them from becoming mines to be molded in an idea like Boko Haram. This is the worst thing that has happened, but it would be far worse if we do nothing, and in 20 to 30 years' time, these kids that don't know anyone or anything or any compassion would rise to become even worse than the Boko Haram we know today.
All our schools in Maiduguri are closed. All the beautiful houses that he built have been turned into camps for IDPs. He does not think anything again. His budget, he has thrown it away. His present budget is IDP, IDP, IDP.
With deep emotion, Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima expressed concern over the plight of IDPs, many of whom he says are vulnerable children. Shettima revealed that his administration is spending over 600 million naira monthly to cater for the welfare of the IDPs. And he fears that the state government may soon run out of funds.
The problem in Chibok, the abduction of our girls, brought to the poor the efforts of an Igbo lady, of the Christian faith. We're struggling to see that those girls are recovered safely and alive. That bears testimony to the fact that as terrible as the crisis is or was, there are still glimmer of hope that things will turn out to be better in this country. For me, I am an eternal optimist who believe that by the grace of God, this madness will be over soon.
The National Assembly was not left out as federal lawmakers pledged their support with legislative instruments that will enhance the welfare of IDPs in their various camps.
One of the issues captured by the resolutions unanimously passed by the House is for the Federal Executive Council, when constituted, to ratify the Kampala Convention that talks about a structured catering for IDPs for subsequent passage into law by the National Assembly. So these are some of the issues that were raised on the floor of the House, which the House unanimously passed with a view to ameliorating the problems of the Northeast.
The United Nations estimates that Nigeria now has the highest number of displaced persons in the world, with about 1.5 million people having to flee insurgent activities in the Northeast. Pai Samuel, CoreTV News, Abuja.
People engaged under the Subsidy Reinvestment and Empowerment Program SHORPI in Kaduna have staged a peace protest over the non-payment of their 7-month salary arrears. Many of the people who showed up for the protest claimed they had been used and dumped by the government agency. Amina Nebi has more in this report presented from our studio.
Munkura collide with the NDE staffs to deny us the access of the money, and they pay our local government coordinators, they pay their 5-month allowances, but they leave us behind. We are the people who are going direct to the garbage. We are the workers. We are going direct to the garbage, cleaning gutters and drainages in the wards level, but yet we didn't see anything. Our beneficiaries from the ward are accusing us that we collided with our officers and go away with their money.
We want government to come inside and rescue us. We have family, we have children, we are paying for rent.
Ina zanga-zanga akan hakkinmu ne da ba a bamu ba wata 7 ba a biya mu kuɗinmu ba na shofi. Kuma ba alhali muna aiki ruwa da iska sanyi baya hana mu fita.
Members of the Association of the Retired Police Officers of Nigeria have also staged a peace protest to Government House, Ilorin, Kwara State, asking the federal government to direct the anti-graft agencies to investigate the National Pension Commission. Rashid has more in this report.
The pensioners who stormed the seat of power in Ilorin alleged that the pension commission assured them of paying 50% of their monthly salary after retirement, but faltered by paying only 25% since retirement. They accused the National Health Insurance Scheme of not fulfilling its promise of providing free health services to members of their families.
All of us who have served the country meritoriously for 35 good years with honesty and loyalty to the federal government and the citizens of Nigeria. But having retired, the money contributed, we contributed from our salary. They are now paying us 25,000, 20,000, 25,000, and per month. And before our retirement, our last pay, like me, I was being paid 100,000. So I was expecting when they said 50% of our, or 80 of our salary will be paid to us when we retire. But to our surprise, like majority of us, they are paying us 25%, 25,000, 20,000 per month. That is one. Secondly, National Health Insurance Scheme.
The protesting body, however, called on the anti-graft agency to commence a probe on the National Pension Commission for breaching of agreement.
Our RSA balance is not paid. So that was why we've been written series of letters. We know they will not allow that letter to get to its destination. That was why we decided to come out to show the government and Nigerians that we are suffering, we are dying. We are about 1,000. We retire every month, first of every month. And so shall be till the end of the world. That is how we want the federal government, we want the president to pull us out, to empower EFCC to investigate the activities of PENCOM.
Having listened to the side of Naala, efforts to get the reaction of management of National Pension Commission proved abortive as they declined interview directing the crew to the national headquarters in Abuja. At the office of the National Health Insurance Scheme, the officer who spoke off camera said the agency is yet to commence program for retired police officers, adding that no agreement was signed with the retired police officers in that regard. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ilorin.
Outside Nigeria, at least 20 migrants have been found dead in a lorry abandoned in a motorway near the eastern border with Hungary. The Austrian authorities said it happened near the eastern border and the number of dead could be as high as 50. The green find comes as a summit focusing on migration takes place in the Austrian capital. Tens of thousands of migrants from conflict-hit states in the Middle East and Africa have been trying to make their way to Europe. Bugland Police Chief Hans-Peter Duskozel said motorway police had been alerted to the vehicle, a refrigerated lorry with Hungarian license plates, which was parked off the A4 motorway between Pandov and Neusiedler. Duskozel said the vehicle was found on Thursday morning but had been there since at least Wednesday. A spokesman for the Hungarian Prime Minister said Hungarian police are working with Austrian police on the investigation. And that wraps it on the news this hour. Thank you for watching. I am Nifemi.